It's about that time, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for another episode of the Foolish Show podcast. I am your host, F to the Ish, Foolish, representing reality, music, entertainment. Support the movement. Y'all know we get on here and talk about that real life stuff. This is reality talk. We talk about stuff that's going on right now. We all living. Every day we wake up, it's another day. We don't know what this day gonna bring or what's gonna happen. But all we can do is live it one day at a time. But we're gonna have another great podcast show tonight. We're gonna talk about different things, but we're gonna really talk about tonight's topic. We're gonna talk about, would you take one of your exes back? Would you date someone from your past? Would you continue that story? Or would you just end it and close the book? Would you date somebody from your past? That's tonight's podcast, folks. So I'm going to give everybody a little time to come on in. But in the meantime, let me set everything up. The live chat is always open. Don't be afraid to leave your comments. You know, I come here to feed your mind, body, and soul. We talk about real life stuff, man, that we all can relate to. And we all have exes. You all have somebody that you done dated in your past. So would you take them back? Would you give them another chance? Or is that story over? That's ancient history. That's old news. You go forward and you don't go backwards. Sometimes you never know how life happens and what's meant to be. So I guess you can never say never. But we're going to get into it in a minute, folks. Let me just set everything up. And we're going to start this podcast. Remember, the live chat is always open. Don't be afraid to leave your comments. Don't be afraid. Speak your mind. Share your thoughts. So how many of y'all out there have went back to one of your exes? Have you taken an ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend back, giving them another chance? They said they sorry, they miss you, they miss the good things that y'all had. Are you currently with that person, or did it still not work out? So it all depends on what you had with that person. How close and how deep was the love? Maybe you still have love in your heart for that certain person, and they can never really do no wrong in your eyes. We all have been in different relationships, and depending on your age, you might have been in plenty of relationships. Some of them made it not last long. Some of them you might have had for some years. The ones that you had for some years, those are the ones that are hard to let go, because both parties have invested so much time and energy into each other. But it all depends on what's the reason for y'all breaking up. Did you break up because one of y'all was cheating or both of y'all was cheating? Did you break up because they didn't treat you right and you feel like they didn't talk to you how you want to be talked to? They talked down on you. They took you for granted. There was something to lead to that breakup. There was something that caused y'all to fall apart and not be together. Only y'all know what that is, because y'all two was in that relationship. So only you know if you still have feelings for somebody, even though time went by, you might have moved on. But what if you both became single again? Would you entertain the idea of reuniting with one of your exes? Sometimes life can go full circle and people end up right back in your life. And maybe you feel like it's destiny or it happened for a reason. Maybe you think it's just pure luck. But whatever your reasoning, understand that we never know what happens in life. And sometimes things happen in the strangest ways. Sometimes you find love when you're not looking for it. When you don't have a flashlight and you're not searching. Would you date or take back one of your exes? I guess it depends on which one. How much did you share together? Did that person did something that you can never forgive them for? You can never set it in your heart to put that aside and say, okay, we can try this again. Did they cross a line that they shouldn't have crossed? It depends how deep and how messy the breakup was. Because we know when you break up with somebody, it can get real messy. A lot of name calling, people doing spiteful stuff to each other, spreading rumors and gossip, different people jumping in and giving their opinion. It causes all type of friction in y'all partnership and y'all friendship. You used to be lovers, and sometimes you become worse enemies after a breakup. You're so disappointed in that person till you have so much anger built up toward them. So for some people to let that go, overlook that, that would be very hard and difficult. But you gotta think about it. You have the right to do as you please. It's your life. And if you don't feel like that person appreciated you when they had you, then hey, maybe you feel like you deserve something better. Maybe you feel like you need to upgrade from what you had, from what you was dealing with. Maybe you want to find somebody that's going to value and appreciate all you have to give. And most important, they're not going to take your feelings and love for granted. So going back and dealing with an ex, you know what to expect if you already dated them. You know the goods and the bads about that person. You pretty much know what that person can bring to the table. The question is, are you willing to accept who they are? Is it not what you want? Do they not have what it takes to make you happy? These are the things we have to ask ourselves before you decide to go backwards. Sometimes it works out and people re-enter your life for a reason. And the flames start to ignite again. And y'all feel that same spark. And the feelings come back for each other. But sometimes when it's over, it's over. Sometimes we have to keep it in the past and throw it in the garbage. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? So sometimes, even though we might think about our past and say, man, I wish I stayed with such and such. Because when you moved on, you realize that that person that you with wasn't so bad. When you see that everything out there on the market ain't that great, you start telling yourself, maybe I should have stayed where I was at. That's why they say the grass ain't always green on the other side. Because at least in your yard, you know how that grass looks. But if you walk away and walk in somebody else's yard, you don't know how that grass is. If y'all just tuning in, we live streaming right now on TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. This is the Foolish Show podcast. Tonight's topic, we talking about, would you take back and date one of your exes? Would you take back an ex-boyfriend, an ex-girlfriend? Would you take back somebody that you used to mess around with or used to be in a relationship with? Y'all shared a lot of time together. You had memories. You may even have a child or two. Do you have those same feelings still for that person to say, let me try this again? Or did they did something that you can't forgive them for and you will never go back to that? You don't want to go back down that road because you know where it's going to lead. Think about what I'm trying to tell you. Would you date one of your exes again? I guess it depends on how they used to treat you. How much did y'all share together? Do you still have love inside for that person? Even though you so-called moved on, you still think about it. You still reminisce of the times y'all had together. So if your heart's still there, then maybe it's a chance. But if you moved on, then it's going to be hard for you to go back to what you already had. When you already know what they bring to the table, and you saw for yourself that it didn't work out. Would you date one of your exes? Would you take them back and give it another shot and see where things lead? Did you think about it and say, you know what? It wasn't that bad. We had our moments. We had our disagreements. But I might give us another chance. Because I still have feelings in my heart for this person. Or maybe you're the type of person to say, hell no, I ain't never going back to that. I'm done with that. That's a closed book. In the story. You could be on the side of the fence. You can still care for your ex or not. Which side of the fence? Which side of the fence do you stand? Would you consider reuniting and dating one of your exes again? Would you try to see what y'all had is still there and it can last and be something special? Or do you feel like that's something that's water under the bridge? It's something in the past that needs to be left alone? Would you be able to go back and deal with that person again? Give that person all your loving and time. And do you feel like it was a waste of time when they had it, they didn't appreciate it? They didn't value what you brought to the table. They took it for granted when you was there. They took it for granted when you was loving them the right way and giving them all your affection. And in your mind, you don't move on and you feel like it's too late now. I'm not going back across that bridge again. Especially when somebody has hurt you and brought you a lot of pain. It's hard to go back to pain and heartache. You want to keep moving forward and not backwards. You want to be able to move on with your life and be happy. And if you feel like that person, then take advantage of the time they had with you. Would you reconsider getting back with them? Would you consider getting back and going back to one of your exes? I guess it depends on which one and how they treated you. If they ain't treat you good, of course, you probably don't want them back. But if they treated you okay and y'all just had a falling out, a misunderstanding, then I get it. But you have ups and downs when you're dealing with any type of relationship. You will have good times and bad times. You will have days where you can't stand each other. You might call each other names. Talk about each other's family. A lot of times you don't mean it, but it happens. So what would you do if one of your exes say, hey, I still love you. You single, I'm single. Let's try to give it a shot again. Let's see if would it work out this time. Would you consider it? And would you already have your answer in your mind that I'd never go back to that nonsense? If it was something bad. If you didn't have a good experience. And they might have told you, I'm sorry, and I changed. I moved on, I changed for the better. I'm a different person now. I ain't the way I used to be. But it's up to you to believe it. It's up to you to consider it. If you know in your heart that they're just running game and just trying to get back with you in the bedroom, you might don't want to waste your time and energy on that. Because you know there's really nothing at the end of that tunnel. There is no pot of gold waiting for you. And then depending on what kind of person you were dealing with, it could have been selfish. It could have been rude. It could have been a cheater, a liar. They might have did a lot of things that made you feel like they treated you wrong. How much does that play a factor in you considering taking your ex back? Would you date one of your exes again? Would you take that chance? Would you even consider it? If the opportunity presented itself, would you say, you know what? I had something one point in time with this person, and it wasn't all that bad. But it depended on how messy the breakup was. Because, you know, the breakups can be messy. Everybody get rude and nasty to each other. Everybody starts showing their nasty ways. You end up can't stand each other. Talk about each other all the time. Talk about each other's family and children. It can get real messy. Finances come up. One might feel like the other one ain't carry their weight. You didn't play your part. You didn't play your role in the relationship when we had it. So some people might look at it as, why would I trust you to do it now? Why would I even consider being with you again? So I want y'all to ask y'allself, the chance and the opportunity came about, would you consider giving one of your exes a try again? Maybe it was one that you really cared about and your heart never really moved on from them. And even still to this day, you have deep feelings for them. But you don't want them to know it. You still want to play tough. You want to act like you can't stand their guts. But deep inside, you probably miss it. You miss all the good things y'all had together. You miss all the good times y'all spent with each other. The nicknames you used to call each other. The way y'all used to make love. The memories. The holidays. Sometimes you have a lot of history with people. But it all depends on if things meant to be or it's not. Some things it's meant to be, and it finds a way to happen. Sometimes people come back together for a reason. And they end up getting married and living their life. Or sometimes they get a divorce and remarry and start all over again. It depends on who we're talking about here. Everybody's not going to always see things eye to eye. No matter what relationship you're in, there will be problems. It will people be talking about you, criticizing you, talking down on you, make you feel like you ain't nobody. Would you reconsider and give that person another shot? Even though you know they ain't treat you right. What they say, baby, I'm sorry I changed. I didn't mean all that. I learned from my mistakes. I'm ready for you now. And I'm going to give you all of me. And you still have feelings for this person. Why are you willing to take a chance on that? When you already rode in that car and you know how that ride is. You know it's a bumpy ride. Why are you going to take it in your mind and say, you know what? Maybe everything done got fixed now and the car going to ride smooth. Maybe this time will be different. Life is what you make it. And you have the right to change your mind. You might have told that person, I don't want you no more. I don't want to never see you again. But you could be bluffing. Inside, you might be saying, I love you. I miss you. I wish this never happened. Because we all human. Sometimes we change our mind. Maybe you thought you was better without that person. When you end up thinking in your mind, that person might have been one of the best things you ever had. It was just the little things that you wish they could change. Maybe it wasn't even something real major. So tonight's topic, we're asking, would you take one of your exes back? Would you consider dating them again? Going down that road again? Because if you dealt with them the first time, you pretty much know what to expect. But it's not to say that people can't change. Everybody don't always stay the same. So people can change. Sometimes they can change for the better, or they can get worse. It's a good chance you go back to them, they might treat you even worse. It might be worse than the first time. Then it might take it too far, where they end up might try to even take your life. Some people be stuck in the past and don't know how to let it go. They don't know how to keep pushing forward. Sometimes you can't hold on to what's not meant to be. If it ain't meant to be, then why are you going to continue to force it? If the puzzle don't fit, how are you going to force it to be together? How are you going to force that puzzle to go together? It doesn't add up. If it's not a perfect fit, if you done seen and experienced and witnessed that this person is not compatible with you, then why go back to that? If they already broke your heart a few times and played with your feelings, why would you waste your time going back to that? Why would you want to go back to being hurt and played with? Now I get it, you might still have feelings, but some feelings you have to learn to let go, especially if it's not benefiting you. If you're getting that by heartache and pain, you're only hurting yourself. Not allowing yourself to find true happiness because you're too stuck in the past. Think about where you used to be at. What you used to do with such and such. Every time you go to a restaurant, you have flashbacks. I used to go here with whatchamacallit. He used to take me there. I used to take her there. Different things that happen will start making you have flashbacks. And you reminisce about the good old days when y'all was loving each other and caring for each other. Sometimes it's hard to accept the fact that those days are long gone. Both of y'all done moved on. Both of y'all are not even the same people as you was before. So it don't make sense to try to reunite and start up that flame again when the fire has burnt out. And all we're going to be doing is wasting each other's time. You could be building something great with somebody else, and you wasting your time with something that already done broke you down and broke your heart. They already done let you down and disappointed you. They already showed you what they had to offer. Would you continue to waste your time on that? Now, if y'all didn't separate on bad terms, you still was friends, and then all of a sudden, y'all just fall back in each other's lap, then that's what it is. Some things we don't plan for. We don't plan things to happen a certain way. It just end up happening. The person you thought you was going to marry, probably not the person that you end up marrying. The person that you least expect to be with, you might end up with. That's just how life happens. You don't know which direction things might go, because things changes all the time. All the time, things happen unexpected without us planning. All we can do is adapt and adjust. So think about what I'm telling you. Never forget all the things that you endured in life, all the pain that people conflicted upon you in your life. The ones that did wrong and did you dirt. I'm not telling you to do dirt back on them. Eventually, everybody gets their karma. But you keep it in the back of your mind so you'll end up being nobody's fool. You don't want to be nobody's play toy. You don't want nobody to keep thinking that this is a game where they can keep hopping and jumping in and out your life. Where they can think they can just keep going back and forth like ping pong. One moment they want you, the next, I don't want you no more. Next week, baby, I miss you. That's that real toxic love that drains you. It will suck all the life and energy out of you because it gets tired. You get tired and exhausted. You get tired of your heart being dragged and pulled through the mud with somebody that really ain't gonna appreciate you and ain't gonna take you serious. How much are you willing to invest in something like that? How much are you willing to overlook all the bad that outweighs the good? Now, if they good outweigh they bad, then maybe you'll consider it. If you think about it and say, you know what? When I really think about it, this is not really a bad person. They did do sweet things for me. They did wash my clothes, cook me food. They did give me kids. Would you take it into consideration to reunite and see what happens? Or in the back of your mind, you know that it will never happen again because of what you done been through dealing with that same person. How confident are you in what you have? How confident are you in what y'all had together that you know this time it would be different and it might have a chance to last? Or you know in your heart, all you be doing is wasting your time because you know what kind of person you dealing with. You know they ain't gonna never stop lying. You know they ain't gonna never stop cheating. You know they ain't gonna never stop using you. So why take yourself through that? Why allow yourself to deal with that heartache and pain? Why put that on your shoulders? We have to learn to do what's best for us. Even at the time it don't seem or feel like. You might feel in your heart, well, maybe this is the person for me. Because you're seeing hard eyes and you're so love struck. You're so wrapped up into this person that it can't do no wrong in your eyes. And you allow them to keep manipulating your mind and keep using you and going back and forth like tennis. You break up and make up every month. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So is it meant to be? Do you have somebody in your life or somebody from your past that you feel like maybe it's meant for me to be with that person? Maybe what we had was special because you feel like you can't find nothing better. You feel like the grass ain't green on that other side and you miss what you once had. Maybe the truth is eating you up inside, and every time you see that person, they give you those same old feelings that you used to have. So what we're talking about tonight, would you consider and take back one of your ex? Would you go back down that road again? Would you give them a chance to have your love? To be in your presence? To be in contact with you again? To be around you again? Do you trust that in your heart? Or you know it's not going to work? You already know what you're dealing with. You know the type of person that you're dealing with because you've been on this ride before. So you know what to expect. Even though people can change, everybody don't always stay the same. Some people mature and they learn from their mistakes. They might tell you, baby, I'm sorry. I didn't appreciate you when I had you, but now I'm ready and this time it's different. Would you consider it? Would you think about it? Would you give it a chance? Would you give a person a chance that already had it? Or do you feel like it's time to close this book? It ain't no more chapters. It ain't no more time to be wasted. See, only you know the answer because you live in that book. You know what happened in the beginning of your story, in the history that you have with that person. You know if you had more bad times than good. You know if that person mistreated you or not for you to even reconsider being with them again. Maybe you're just so wrapped up into them and still in love with them that they can't do no wrong in your eyes. Sometimes you could be so madly in love with somebody, they can't do no wrong no matter what they do. You refuse to see their flaws. Love is blind in your eyes. You're blinded because you're so headstrong and head over heels for this person. Feel like this person is the love of my life. I've been with him since high school. This is who I'm supposed to be with. This is who I'm supposed to give my life to. But are you sure about that? Do that person feel the same way? Do that person feel the same way you do? Are they madly in love with you? Are they head over heels about you? How much in your heart do you still feel for this person? Do you feel like y'all ended on a bad note? Or do you feel like y'all ended too early? Maybe you feel like it wasn't even that serious for y'all to be apart. Which side of the fence are you on? Do you feel like one of your exes is the person you should be with? Is him or her actually the one for you? Do you feel like they actually can really make you happy? Do you feel they have what it takes? Or do you know in your heart you done been down that road before and you know it's a dead end? You know we ain't doing that but just wasting each other's time. Do you have that ex that you wish you never met? You might have that ex that you wouldn't dare talk to again. You might have that ex that you don't want to see their face. You don't want to be in the same room because of all the pain and heartache they took you through. All the lies and all the drama. You don't want no part of it and you don't want to deal with it. Is there one of your exes that you feel like you should be with or you want to be with? Or have you moved on and you will never go backwards? Some people may give it a chance. Others might keep it pushing and say that's done and over with. I'm not going down that road no more. I tried it. It didn't work. We just not meant to be. In our hearts, it's not meant to be. It's all right with accepting the truth. I would rather accept the truth than live a lie. You don't want to live the rest of your life in a lie, being with somebody that you think you're supposed to be with, but it's not your soulmate and the one that God wants you to be with. This is not the right one for you, because the right one for you gonna appreciate you and they're gonna love you the right way. They're not gonna take your love for granted. They're not gonna continue to play with your heart. They're not gonna continue to break your heart. They're not gonna continue to feed you lies. So what we're asking tonight, and what the topic is, would you date or take back one of your ex-girlfriend, boyfriends? Maybe it's somebody years ago, and you end up running into each other again. Both of y'all exchange numbers. You still feel something in your heart for them. They still give you butterflies and make you blush. You reminisce and think about all the history and all the times you spent together. Or maybe you got that ex where you don't dare want to see again. You will never want to be in the same room with them. You will never get back in the bed with them. You just can't stand them that much because they took you through a lot of BS. They put a lot of heartache and pain, and you don't want no more part of that. And I can't blame you. You shouldn't want to waste your time with somebody who ain't gonna appreciate you. You don't want to waste your time with somebody that's gonna continue to manipulate and play with your heart when you could have moved on and found somebody that's gonna love you right. You never know what the future can bring. Somebody better could be waiting around the corner. Or you also can get worse. You might have thought you had somebody that was no good, and the next person you get serious about might be 10 times worse. So there's no guarantees on no matter who you decide to date and be with. All you can do is get to learn people, learn their patterns, their habits, their personalities, their ways. Learn if you are compatible with that person. Do all the good stuff outweigh the bad? Then maybe you might reconsider being with one of your exes again. Maybe you'll push that to the side if it wasn't so bad and y'all got history together. You still know each other's family. You think about all the good times and all the good things you did together. It might make you want to reconsider being with one of your exes again. Maybe you don't mind spinning the block and say, hey, this was my baby before. And maybe this time something can be even more special. Maybe we both wasn't ready at that moment, and y'all feel like now is the right time. You feel like destiny has brought y'all back together, and y'all should let love have its way. You never know how life gonna hit you because it comes out of nowhere. A lot of times life don't go as we plan. The people we plan on being with, having a family with, most of the time it don't be that person. Sometimes it be the people that you least expect who end up being your wife or your husband. Maybe somebody you knew from your past. Love works in mysterious ways, folks. It's all about, are you willing to take chances? And what kind of chance are you willing to take with your heart, with your life? Do you feel like some things would just be a waste of time? Why would you even waste your time and energy in something that's dead and gone? It ain't no coming back. No matter how much everybody saying all these sweet things and how you miss each other, you know in your heart it will never work. So why take yourself through that? Especially if you have kids. Why drag your kids back into that again? When that person that you had around already showed they behind once. Why are you going to keep giving them chances to play with you? You have to learn how to protect your heart and your feelings. You got to be stingy with your love and give it to somebody that's going to appreciate it, and they're going to give that same love in return. Love is a two-way street. You don't supposed to just do all the giving and you don't feel no love and affection back. You don't want to be with a selfish person that's just all about them, and as long as they happy, that's all that matters. That person should be considerate and ask you, are you happy? And if you ain't happy, what can I do better to make you happy? Now, some people are just stubborn. Some people just want their cake and eat it too. Some people want everything to happen their way and go their way. They don't want to compromise and see things from other people's point of view. everything has to go your way, and it has to go your way right now. Some people are possessive. They're not considerate to others' feelings. As long as they're getting what they want, that's all they care about. Them the people that I try to avoid. I'm not going to allow people to manipulate me and keep playing with my emotions and feelings, because I'm not a fool. I have to learn from my mistakes. And if you got me, you fooled me once, and you fooled me twice, that's shame on me. Because I allowed that door to open again. I allowed you to come in and play with me. So it's up to you to go back in your past and date somebody that you was with before. Maybe you feel like y'all got some unfinished business. Maybe you feel like it's something missing that y'all still can accomplish. And all you got to do is put little things to the side, apologize, and let go of each other's ego. Maybe both of y'all are stubborn and stuck in y'all ways, and nobody wants to say, I'm sorry. Nobody wants to say that I'm wrong. You stop pointing fingers. Nobody wants to step up and say, hey, maybe I could have did this better. I could have treated you better. Maybe I could have stopped doing this. Maybe I could have stopped doing that. Maybe I should have thought about your feelings when I had you. Maybe I should have put in more time with you when I had you. You know what they say, you don't miss a good thing until it's gone. So sometimes it takes you losing something to realize how much that something meant to you. Because when you lose it, you start missing it. And then when you see that person, it brings back all those old emotions and feelings again. And you wish things could go back to how it used to be. Would you allow that to happen? Would you allow somebody in your past to walk back in your life? I guess it depends what kind of person we're talking about. If it's a person that already hurt and put you through pain, I don't see what's the point. Even though people can change. If you want to take that chance, it's your life. Nobody can say, well, don't go back to him, don't go back to her. They can tell you that and give you their opinion, but it's up to you to listen, and it's up to you to do what you want to do in your life. Maybe you want to take a chance and go back down that road again. Maybe you feel like it's some unfinished business that y'all need to attend to. You do whatever your heart tells you to do. How you feel inside. How deep are your feelings for that person? How much do you really care for them? Is that love still deep for that person? Well, you don't mind giving it a second chance. Some people give a third and a fourth chance. Some people give 5 chances, 6 chances. They allow people to continue to jump in and out their life. I'm not that type of person, because time is something we can't get back, and I can't keep wasting time. I cannot get my time and my life back. So what's done is done, and all we can do is keep pushing forward. You can't change what didn't happen. And what happened between y'all and what y'all had, nobody can erase that. All you can do is take that as a learning experience. Now, weren't you willing to sacrifice your happiness and go back to misery if that person did not appreciate you in the beginning? If that person didn't appreciate you when they had you. When they had you, they didn't care about all that. Would you reconsider and take one of your exes back? Would you give him a second chance? What they tell you, baby, I'm sorry. I'm going to do right this time. Why not see what's going to happen? Why not test the waters again? You know you miss me. You know we had fun. What about all the holidays? What about all the gifts and birthdays? Are you willing to take that chance again? Did the relationship end on a good note? Or y'all just decided to go y'all separate ways? But wasn't no whooping and hollering, fussing and cussing. Karen says it depends. If you're just tuning in, tonight's podcast, we're talking about, would you consider and go back and give any one of your exes another chance? Would you go back down that road again, even though you know where that road led you the first time? Not to say that people cannot change, because people can change. They don't always stay the same. Some people grow. Some people learn from their mistakes. And they might tell you, baby, I miss you, and I don't grow. I am not the same man or the same woman you was with before. I have matured. Karen says some people don't deserve another chance. Absolutely not. The ones that treat you like dirt, wasted your time, play with your time, your heart, your emotions, and your feelings, that shouldn't even cross your mind to even think about being with that person again. Why would you want to take yourself through that nonsense again when you already experienced it before? That's being a complete fool. You're asking for it. You're asking and putting yourself in bad situations where you don't want to be happy. And you're giving a person power over you, and they feel like, you will never leave me. You need me. You got to be with me. You will never find happiness without me. I'm the reason why this and that. I'm the reason. You can never find nobody like me. You can't move on. They're going to huff and puff and puff and put their chest out because they feel like they got you wrapped around their finger. Some people have mind control over you and you don't realize it. Some people give 2 and 3 and 4, 5 and 6 chances. And all they got to say is, baby, I'm sorry. And you come running back. I think you owe it to yourself a little more than that. You don't want to continue to put your heart through nonsense. Karen says, I don't want any of my exes back. I have outgrown the relationship and with them. So a lot of people going to feel like Karen. You might feel like, hey, I done been there, man. I'm not doing that again. Them days are over with. I am not driving back down that road. What we had, that was then, and this is now. A lot of people feel like that about their exes. Some people still got love in their heart for one of their exes. Some people might feel like one of their exes is still the person they're supposed to be with. They might feel like that's my soulmate. That's the only one that treated me better than anybody I ever had. So what's your expectations for your life and your happiness? What are you willing to put up with? Are you willing to keep putting up with somebody's BS and waiting on them to get it right? Waiting on them to straighten out? Waiting on them to take you serious? How much of your time in life are you going to waste on somebody who don't value, appreciate what you bring to the table? They don't value what you bring to the table. Because if they did, they would appreciate it when they had it. They would not neglect it when they had it. They would not push it to the side when they had it. They would hold on tight and never let you go. But some things ain't meant to be. Some things, it has to be like that. You have to go y'all separate ways. Because that relationship was so toxic and dangerous that somebody was going to get hurt. So God removed that situation out of your life for a reason. You got to take notes and learn from your mistakes. Learn from who to deal with and who not to deal with. Learn who to give your heart to and who ain't worth it. Don't just fall for anybody that come across your eyeballs. Don't just give your heart to everybody that wink their eye at you. Everybody that blow you a kiss. Everybody don't deserve it. Everybody don't deserve what you have to offer. Would you go back to one of your exes? I guess it depends on how they treated you. How much feelings do you still have for this person? Do you feel like giving that person another chance will help your life? Because when you was with them, they made you feel good and it made you feel a certain way. They made you feel loved. And you never felt that feeling before no more. Since you and that person broke up, nobody else gave you that feeling again. Or maybe it's just time to let it go. Maybe it's time to put that ship and start sailing off in the sunset. Some things are meant to be, some things are not. Some people are putting your life temporary. That's why we have little flings and they don't end up lasting long. Because that's not your soulmate. That's not the person that you're supposed to be with for a long time. Some people are temporary in your life. They're not there permanently. And some people you don't want around forever because they don't have your best interests at heart. You don't want to have too many snakes in your grass. You don't want to be laying up with the enemy or the devil. You want to have somebody that really appreciates you and values what you bring to the table. Somebody that's going to help you grow as a person. And y'all can love on each other the right way. We're not every day fighting and fussing and going through heartaches and stress on an emotional roller coaster every day because you don't know what you're going to get from that person. They got you always living on the edge and walking on eggshells. So maybe you have an ex that you're still in love with. Maybe all your exes you glad you're done with. But we all have been there and done that. It's all a part of living. You're going to date people. Sometimes it's going to last long. Sometimes it ain't. At the end of the day, you got to do what makes you happy. And if you feel that that person is the only one that can make you happy, then nobody can tell you not to go back to him. They can say, child, don't do it. He ain't going to treat you right. They can be like, hey, bro, I wouldn't go back to her. But it's up to you to make that decision or not. Because you know what you feel in your heart. And if you know that love is still strong in your heart for that person and you want to give it another chance, that's on you. But if you know that that person ain't going to do nothing but do you wrong again, play with your feelings, take you through hell and back, I don't know why you want to sign up for that. That ain't something you should want in your life. But we're going to wind this podcast on down, y'all. We're coming to an hour. So we had another great positive podcast. Never good vibes in the air. If you missed tonight's podcast, you can always rewind and go watch it on YouTube. The YouTube channel is Reality Music Entertainment. But before you go, let me put the code on the screen. Scan that code on the bottom corner right there, folks. It will take you to the official Reality Music Entertainment merchandise store. We got new fitted caps, beanies, snapbacks, You name it, we got it. Hoodies, t-shirts for ladies and men. All type of joggers, sweats, socks. You name it, we got it. Scan that code on the bottom of your screen, folks. Support the movement. I appreciate all the love and support. Make sure y'all tell your friends and family. Y'all come and check out the Foolish Show. We be on here talking about real life stuff. I try to feed your mind, body, and soul every time we come on here. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel if you ain't already. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that bell for that notification. I'll see y'all Wednesday night, folks. We had another great podcast. Y'all stay safe. One love, everybody.